a bunch of books. Hi friends! It's been a very long time since I've sat in front of a camera and talked to the unknown, but I kind of want to get back into it. I just went traveling and got a bunch of books, and of course I want to talk about them. I want to show them off. I was lucky enough to be able to spend almost a month away from home. I went and visited some family in Estonia and then some time with family in New Hampshire before heading to New York City to spend some time with friends. And I kind of just wanted to talk about all the books that I got. I only brought 2 books. The book that I first started off with was Casey McQuiston's The Pairing. The only other book that I've read of hers. Hi, pausing real quick just to say that Casey actually uses they, them pronouns, which I was unaware of before recording this, so I apologize. Was Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I loved. And then reading this one, I was obsessed. So I kind of want to come back. We had an escapee. I loved this book so much. Been slowly getting into underlining my books because I've been so protective of them for so many years. I've realized that it's actually really nice to be able to kind of underline the things. I feel like I'm part of the story a little bit more. I ate it up. It was so scrumptious. It was so delicious. It was horny as all hell, which is kind of what I was looking for in romance. It is about 2 exes that find themselves on the same food and wine tour of Western Europe. It feels like you're really there. She really goes into the tastes and the smells and the sights, and I just kept underlining so many different parts of this. I learned a lot about myself as well through these characters, so I loved this and I would highly recommend it to anyone. And so when I finished this one, I was in Estonia and I already had in my brain of like, as soon as I possibly can, I'm going to get the new Emily Henry book. I was able to get that in Estonia, in the version that I wanted, because sometimes I was very hesitant about it being the British version, and I really wanted the hardcover so that it would match my other ones by her. I really like Emily Henry. I just ate up Funny Story. I cried, I laughed, I had such a good time. Beach reads, Happy Place. I actually haven't read Book Lovers yet, which is insane, but I need to read that one. Wasn't my favorite. I wouldn't say that it was bad. I definitely enjoyed myself. I still went through it pretty quickly. But after coming from The Pairing, where I was underlining all of these different parts that I just found so beautifully written and really immersed in the story, this felt a little lacking. I still had a really good time with this. I would still, if you're an Emily Henry fan, I would still recommend it. I would love to talk to some people about it. It didn't really make waves in my life, I guess. I got this at Rafa Ramat. Rafa is people and Ramat is book. And while I was also at Rafa Ramat, I picked up some Moomin. If you don't know, Moomin is a troll-like creature / character. I don't think that it's a real or mythical creature. I think that it was just a characterized version from this author. And Moomin, is from Finland. Moomin is a children's story. It's also a TV show. They've pretty much made so many books from this point. And I was hoping to get it in Estonian because even though I know Estonian, I can get by, I understand a lot of it. I never grew up reading or know any of the grammar whatsoever. I do have the first Harry Potter book in Estonian, and I've had that for many years, and even though it's a story that I know super well, I still have so much difficulty with it. And so I was thinking it would be best if I got a children's story, something with some illustrations, easier words maybe, so that I can get to know the language a little bit better through written word instead of just spoken. And it's so gorgeous. Look at all of that. It's so pretty. Oddly, it took me some time to find a version. There were a lot of Moomin books, a lot of them in Estonian too, but all of them were almost AI illustrations. They were just not the sort of illustrations that I've always thought of as Moomin. But anyways, excited about this one. A nice little children's book that will probably still take me a really long time because it's in Estonian. Mummitroll arvas, et võiks täna midagi kübara sisse ja vaadata. To do some practice with that. Anyways, these are the two books that I got from Estonia. And then the other book that I did bring with me is Sour Cherry. This one is one that I was borrowing from a coworker of mine at the bookstore. I read Victorian Psycho. It recently came out this year and I loved it. I thought it was so good. I feel like this is a very similar vibe. It's very different at the same time. Someone's describing it as a folktale, a whisper, and a dream all at once. There's so much that isn't happening, but at the same time there is. And it's very hallucinatory. It's very pretty much just don't expect to know what's going on all the time, and slowly you'll start to understand. The plot is there, things are happening, and yet then there comes to a point where things just all happen at once, and it's all, I don't know, it's a hard one to describe. Its strength is in the subtlety. There's a lot of pages where, as I show them, they might not mean too much, but through the whole building, it makes so much sense, and then it comes crashing down, and it's beautifully done, and it's confusing, and then you don't really know how it ends. Read it, and if you do, please come back and talk to me about it, because there's a lot that I would have, anyways. Sour Cherry, talk to me about it, please. So, goes to Estonia, reads some books, goes to New Hampshire, gets some books. My parents are moving from their place in New Hampshire up to Canada, so this is probably one of the last times that I will be going back to this area of New Hampshire for a really long time, which is insane to think of. So while I was in New Hampshire, I went to my favorite bookstore. I've bought many books there before. It has a very special place in my heart. It's called Toadstool Bookstore. There's a few different ones in the New Hampshire area. I think there's only 2 of them now. There used to be like 3 or 4, but here's like one of their cute little stickers that I finally got. So I'm gonna put that on something, maybe one day. I went to the Toadstool. I went a few different times, but then only got 2 books one time. One of them is a tarot coloring book. This has the major arcana. I love getting into tarot. Tarot is one of my favorite things. I actually want to get more into it. I want to be a little bit better about memorizing all of my cards and their meanings so that I'm not always referencing. And I've gotten to them a little bit, but this I think will really help me. A tarot reader recommended for me to get into this because although it's a simple coloring book, as you spend more time with the cards while reading all about the meanings behind things, you get to like come and understand the cards a little bit better. You become more familiar with it. So really love that. Really excited to get into this one. Oh, so shiny. And then while I was also at the Toadstool, which that's their little bookmark, I picked up Inciting Joy by Ross Gay. I read his other book about essays about joy and such before for a book club, and then this is my next book club's book choice. So we are going to read this one. Wow, it's really bright. This is really bad lighting, isn't it? 15 minutes in, we're not going to make any changes. This one, I haven't looked at it much yet, but I enjoyed his last one, or I think I enjoyed the last one. That's going to be coming up soon in the next few weeks. So while I was in New Hampshire, I was able to go up to see my friend Kayla up in Portland for a day. We grabbed some drinks, we hung out on the porch forever, and we talked about books, we talked about writing. We went to a few bookshops, of course. We went to this used bookstore, which was really cool. It had like really tight, massive shelves just packed full of all of these different books. Lots of really cool editions that I haven't seen in a long time, and I would have loved to stay there forever. It smelled so good. And then we also went, let me see. So we went to Longfellow Books, which is an indie bookstore in downtown Portland. They had some really great staff picks there. Some of my own staff picks from my bookstore were also being staff picked there, which just makes me feel good about myself because, you know, you get it. Anyways, this was one of the staff picks. Oh my god, it's so... I was told there'd be cake. It is a list of essays by Sloane Crosley. Not only was it a staff pick there, but my friend Kayla highly recommended it. So I picked it up and was thinking about it, and I kept flipping through, and it seems like I'm just really excited to read this one. I think that her writing style is really intriguing and really hilarious and kind of blunt just from what I've flipped through, but I'm really excited about checking this one out. That was in Portland. And then I went to New York. I went to New York City to see two of my friends' sisters. One lives in Manhattan, the other in Brooklyn. I stayed with Lisa in Brooklyn, but my friend Kirsi happens to work at a publishing company in New York City, St. Martin's Press, and she was able to get me a day to tour the building. It was a Friday, everyone was at home, it was super quiet, but the cool thing about that place is that there's all of these shelves just full of books that they had published that people can take home. So I got some books. I could have gone a lot harder and picked up a lot more books. There was a lot of books that I was interested in, a lot of them with like really beautiful sprayed edges. But yeah, I didn't end up picking as many as you'd think. I was really proud of myself. I was trying to think of how much room I had left in my suitcase and how heavy it would be. But I got 5 books, but you can still hold them all in one hand, not that heavy. So I picked up The Night Guest by, what is it, Hildur Knutsdottir. This is a short little guy about a woman that isn't getting a lot of good sleep. She keeps going to doctors, they keep telling her different things, blood tests come back normal, her friends keep saying like, oh, you need to be more active, oh, and it's like, girl, same, I feel that. But hers is a little different because then she realizes that she has been logging like 40,000 steps during the night for no reason. So I read this one right away. Right after I finished Sour Cherry on the plane home, finally, I picked up this one and flew through it. It is super short. There's lots of like chapters where it's just blank pages. Right, so goes pretty quickly. I liked this one. The ending, to be discussed. I have some opinions. A little disappointed, but not really. Like it, I don't know. Really fun, really good, just like quick hour, 2-hour little guy. Love this cover too. Liked that one, and that was one of the ones that I got from St. Martin's Press. Then I also picked up Graveyard Shift. This is another short little guy. I've been really into the shorter books recently. I've been feeling really like overwhelmed by massive series that are ongoing. I want short, sweet, just watching a movie in my head for like 2 hours. I have been picking up a lot of shorter books, been really drawn to a lot of these novellas. This is about a group of people that find themselves in a cemetery during the night. They are doing the graveyard shift of whatever jobs that they're doing. And it seems like a very Halloween-y, very spooky-ooky book, which I'm excited to read, but I think I'm going to save this for either some spooky time this summer or maybe all the way in October. So we'll see about that. And along the same lines, we've got another Stephen Graham Jones book, which is odd that I haven't read any of his stuff fully. I was reading The Only Good Indians many years ago when it first came out, and it was so... it's a horror, like a psychological horror, and I felt so in deep that I felt like I was going crazy with the main character. And so I was having a hard time with it, but in the way that it was well done, you know? So it's kind of like a weird, was I able to finish it? No, but it was so well done because of that. I'd like to get back to it at some point. Anyways, another cute little horror novella. Could get through that. Another possibly for Halloween. Also picked up Bookshops and Bone Dust This is the second in a very cozy fantasy series. The first one is Legends and Lattes, which I loved. I just love the mundanity of writing down the list of things that are needed for a new coffee shop in a fantasy world. Like, it was just, the characters are cute. The to-do lists that get done, there's something so satisfying about reading something about that. So I loved Legends and Lattes. I believe this is considered a prequel of some sort, a sequel, but I'm not really sure. But about an orc woman, very fun, light-hearted. We'll see when I read this one. No idea. Then, I swear, I'm almost done. Kind of. 3 more books. Then, this is one that I'd never heard of before. I picked up Writing an Identity Not Your Own. It's a guide for creative writers by Alex Temblador. Temblador? I don't know. I like to write. Sometimes I have difficulty with my characters, especially main characters for whatever reason. I feel like they're kind of, I don't know, man. But this could be a very helpful writing guide, especially for characters when I have multiple in one book, multiple point of views. I need to figure it out. So, I don't know, probably this summer. Then, while in New York, there are so many great bookstores. I've been to the Strand several times. I love that place. I wasn't able to go on the Strip. But one of the really high ones for me, I think I saw a video of it, my mom sent me a video of it, that I really wanted to go to, is a bookshop called Sweet Pickle Books. Sweet Pickle Books is a used bookstore right outside or like within Chinatown, so like southern part of Manhattan. And if you bring them a used book and donate it to them, they will give you a whole bunch of pickles. They'll give you a jar of pickles for every used book that you bring. I was supposed to bring a used book, but then when I found myself in that area, I realized that I had forgotten it. But I still wanted pickles and I still wanted a book. So while I was there, I picked up a whole jar of pickles and already ate it. But they're Sweet Pickle Books. They make the pickles themselves. Like, I love pickles. And I kept the jar because I kind of had this idea of, I like to collect bookmarks from indie places that I go to. So, you know, like not Barnes & Noble and stuff like that. So I have my Longfellow books from Portland, Maine. I'm gonna put that right in there. And then I also have all of these other ones that I've been collecting. But now I have like a proper jar to put them in so I can actually use that glass. This is one that my aunt made. She makes a lot of really great bookmark. This one is Country Bookshelf. Oh my gosh. Country Bookshelf in Bozeman, Montana. We got the Odyssey bookstore, which was in Ithaca when I was living there for a while. This is probably one of the best bookmarks I've seen. It's so pretty. Wow, there we go. Oh, just very nice. Then we have the Good Girls Bookshop. Good Girls Bookshop is a bookshop here in the Flathead Valley that is just romance books. They opened about within the last year, within the last 6 months, maybe. Like, they've been open pretty recently. And that's where I got The Pairing forever ago. And then we got Fact and Fiction. This is here. This was in Missoula when I was living there. This one is Polar Peak. Polar Peak is the one that's in Fernie, British Columbia. So, forgot about that one, but I love that one. One that my cousin made me. My own bookstore. I don't own it, but it's where I work. Bookworks. Love it. Toadstool. Let's put those back in there. The Book Exchange in Missoula. And Sherman's. This is in Bar Harbor, Maine. I collect them. Oh, and then I have this one too. Shakespeare and Company. At the Sweet Pickle Bookstore, which, of course, I got a bookmark. Read more books, eat more pickles, say less. I got Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This is what I'm currently in the middle of. This is about a 31-year-old woman living in Boston in the 90s. Her mother has just passed away. She just went through a big heartbreak. She's working at a fine dining restaurant and is trying to write a book. And I was like, almost talking about me. Those were all the books that I got on my travels, but I just went to the bookstore and one of my orders came in And so I'm just gonna add it to this video because it's about books and it's a haul and whatnot. That is Carly Fortune's newest book, One Golden Summer. I've read 2 of her books before, both of them lake summer related. I loved them though. I do love them. I just get confused with the titles because they all look the same too. It's a summer book about lakes. Those are all the books that I got on my travels. Thank you for watching. I hope you get some good reading in. Thanks for hanging out with me. Tell me to stop buying books. Also, tell me to stop taking videos in the sun. But it's good to be back. Okay, love you. Bye.